Window logo. Poland. What is he? What? Oh, okay. He's just drawing a window. Germany, don't draw windows like that. Who draws windows like that, Germany? The fact that their flag changed too when they got to this section, that's crazy. How did YouTube allow this video? The horrors that Poland is remembering right now. Thank goodness he decided to do a line down. He doesn't, like, it looks like, I love that he even put his paintbrush in the corner. So you don't know if he's gonna go right or up. Luckily for us, he goes up, which that's okay. Now he's just drawing a little window. Okay, it makes sense. What's even funnier too is, wasn't Germany led by a painter? He was a painter from Austria. The fact that Germany's painting here, weird. Somebody check if he has a skinny mustache. Oh, so close. FBI, get this guy. It's like summoning Bloody Mary or like the boogeyman. Does the German youth go into bathrooms and say his name 3 times? If it's not him himself that shows up in the mirror, it probably is the German authorities. You're not allowed to refer to a lot of that stuff now in Germany. You're also not allowed to watch a Durnil video without hearing about some plushies. We got the Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand. If you're interested, there's a link to makeship.com. Reserve yours today before they're gone forever. We only have a limited time left. The new Countryballs I will be previewing very soon. POV, Germany. Let's see what it's like to be Germany. So that's Napoleonic France rising up and destroying the Holy Roman Empire. Then Napoleonic France leaving after invading Russia. Then being brought back as the German Confederation. Now that's just a regular France. We have... that's Prussia reuniting Germany. The German Empire forms. Austria-Hungary becomes a thing. We're gonna have to go back and watch this video in a second. So that's World War I that's happening with their little Prussian helmet. A American nuke stops them. Germany not feeling so hot. Now they're really angry, and now they're gonna take it out on everyone. Now they're gonna do Anschluss. They're gonna do World War II. They're gonna, of course, destroy Poland. They're, of course, gonna bonk France. And again, when they head to Russia, they get punched out. That's the division, Cold War, now joining the EU, and now this is Germany right now, and the EU seems to be really happy about it. Why doesn't Germany seem happy about it? Oh, that's a bunch of other country balls inside of Germany, especially Turkey. Nobody loves Turkey more than someone inside of Berlin. So again, the Holy Roman Empire exists for a very long time. This is literally them breaking apart, all because of France. So, you know, the Holy Roman Empire existed for like 1,000 years there. It was Napoleon himself out of France who came and destroyed it. So right now, France is the de facto ruler over all of Europe because this is Napoleon at his height. He goes into Russia and then immediately runs away. Literally gets blasted off into space because of the winter. You know, Napoleon has to walk back to France with his tail between his legs. Now all the German states are sitting here like, well, now what? So they decide to literally revive, I guess in this situation, Austria decides to revive kind of the Holy Roman Empire, but it's known as the German Confederation. So it's kind of functioning a little bit differently. What the hell was that? Was that like a little Poland ball? Yeah, that was a angry Hungary that just popped up. There's also Italian states. There are different German states. There are little Russians inside of here too. Poles even. Who is that white and green ball? Is that Salzburg or something? So this is the 1800s. We have the rise of, so this is still Habsburg Austria, and they're about to form, oh, so that's the Kingdom of Italy. So Italy unifies before Germany does. And now Prussia slowly begins to unite all of the German states, and then they have a war against France. Okay, so boom, that's when the Habsburg Austrians switch over to the other side. That's, I think that's a significance. The hat they're referring to Napoleon's nephew, Napoleon III. He was president for the first 4 years and then was just straight up emperor until 1871, or sorry, 1870. That's 1871 is when Germany unified. So it actually shows France launching into Germany and Germany just bouncing them right back. So that when they win that, this is the Franco-Prussian War. This is the thing that unifies Germany, also in turn gets rid of Napoleon III, who was the emperor. I like that we have a brief cameo from the rectangle because he's all square. This is the official born date, the birth date of the rectangle. They put him back in ball form. Now he's the German Empire. Now, obviously, the Austro-Hungarians and Germany are the same color here because they're both part of the Central Powers during World War I. And I did show for a brief second, Italy was in blue. Now, Italy was not the first to join. Well, actually, it does show France first. I wish they would have just made the UK blue, showing that they were part of the Entente. Remember, the Italians joined late. They were in a defensive pact with the Central Powers. They're still pretty mad about that because Italy was arguably supposed to join the Central Powers, but then they don't. They try to move through Belgium. Belgium, the speed bump of Europe. Bam. Kind of late to the game, but 1917, America comes in. I wish it was a shotgun. The Americans used shotguns, and the Germans really didn't like that in World War I. But yeah, the explosion happens, and in the ashes, Germany is left with a giant black eye. They lose a bunch of territory. Also notice, we don't come back to the same Austria. Austria's been reduced to just this. They're no longer the the Austro-Hungarian Empire either. Look at this. Is this cobwebs that are forming? They start to get old. This is the Weimar Republic, technically. They're suffering from crazy inflation. They got no money until 1933, when they put an Austrian painter with a funny mustache in charge, and then they become the No-No Germans. So then they're going to Auschwitz Austria. They're going to take the Sudetenlands from Czechia, and then they're going to take all of Czechia. They're going to remilitarize the Rhineland. They're going to, I guess, put a bullet in Poland's face with the help of the Soviets. They didn't show the Soviets right there. France is scared. They come knock out France. Also, they knocked out, Denmark, the lowlands. They don't show... Oh, they do show. I didn't even realize that. He literally butts France in the face, and then instantly you can see in the map in the background right there, that's Norway also getting eaten up. I mean, Denmark lasts like 2 hours during World War II against the Germans. I'm hoping that is a neutral Switzerland behind their helmet. And then just like France did, they move out towards the east to fight Russia, and then they also get punched out. Boom. They briefly, then the Allies come, D-Day. This is the last couple territories. If you look at the map in 1945, the final days, the Germans were kind of in small, weird little pockets after the Fuhrer offed himself in the bunker. And then bam, we have an occupied Germany. This is also accurate. This is what the map looked like. The US had the Bavaria region, which is why we celebrate Oktoberfest, and we think of it as a holiday that's throughout all of Germany, but it's really just a Munich, Bavaria thing. And then, the UK have the place by the North Sea, the French, then they unite. This is West Germany and East Germany. The Cold War begins. That's going to happen for decades. About 50 years there. Obviously, West Germany is a part of NATO. East Germany is a part of the Warsaw Pact. Then the USSR. Now, it's not that fast. They have to sit and stare at each other, but we are watching this a YouTube short. But it's like 50 years. They just stare at each other. Nothing happens until literally, this is like kind of a perfect way to describe the Cold War. The USA and the USSR looking at each other very angrily, and without anything happening, any sort of punches being thrown by the two balls themselves, they literally just explode out of nowhere. And everyone's just like, what the hell? And then here are all the Soviet states to break apart, notably Ukraine, the Baltics, Georgia. There's a bunch of places that break apart. And now Germany is in charge, unification of Germany. They're now in the EU, but of course, they're hosting a lot of other balls. Guten Tag, Poland. Oh, there's the comment. When every nation lives in one apartment in Berlin. That's basically what I was saying earlier. Bro, I even appeared at the end. Hee hee. Oh my god, this is the perfect song to use. Okay, it's called Back to Being Friends by basically Ty. So they're referring to going back to being friends. The Russian Empire and early United States, notice they don't have as many stars on their flag. They were very friendly back in the day. But unfortunately, oh, they crying? What the hell? Someone who never... What the heck? This is so sad. That's so weird. Because nowadays, obviously, the USA and Russia are back at each other's throats. And nope, no problem. Okay. So this is the transition after the Russians, became the Russians after the fall of the Soviet Union, because I'm assuming this is like a metaphor, them looking back at the Soviet Union. So this is beyond 1991. Is that the Soviet Union or is that China? That's got to be the Soviet Union. Yeah. Okay, just wait, that's China. Oh, okay. Never mind. This is not a metaphor. My bad. So right now, Russia's friend is China, but they're kind of imagining what if they were friends again with the USA. Notice the USA's eyes, they were kind of angry there. But back in the day, hey, we was homies. This was... Coincidentally, not even coincidentally, this is the reason why Russia sold us Alaska. Because we both had a pretty big mutual enemy. We despised the British. The Russians just didn't want to give Alaska to the British, or basically Canada at that time. They were like, hey, let's sell that to the USA because frick the British. We were good friends. I mean, again, we had a mutual enemy because the Brits were on top of the world during the 1800s, the 19th century. I mean, to be honest, look at the World Wars. We were on the same side during both World Wars, World War I and World War II. People forget about that. But I'm glad that they used the Russian Empire flag here because that is a bit more accurate. Uncle Russia has a gift for you. Was it Alaska? Did I miss that? Oh, here, Alaska for you. Really? Uncle Russia, I love you. That's funny, they're calling them Uncle Russia. Obviously, that does make sense. If they are nephews, Russia is way older than the United States. Oh, look at that. Why is there a picture of them together? Is this just reminiscing of the Cold War days? They were frenemies. Maybe we look back, maybe the USA ball looks back as more of like a frenemy situation, the Cold War thing in the Countryballs universe. Can you look at me and this is when the USA cries, pretend 1 million, someone you never met? That's so sad. Yeah. I mean, again, kind of, it does feel more and more like the Cold War nowadays because the USA and Russia kind of battling it out for proxy states, Ukraine, and it's probably going to only continue to increase in the future. To be honest, I feel like Russia would love nothing more than to be friends with the US. If the US and Russia was allied, maybe against Europe, but that's just never gonna happen. Probably the most emotional short you've ever created, absolute cinema. From friends to enemies, sad face. This video is just called Labubu. Wait, not Labubu, my bad. The song, India support country, that's what I meant to say. The song is something about Labubu, but this is India versus Pakistan and the sides that are allied to Pakistan. Here's the thing about this video. Here, let me play it out. This video, I don't think is all that correct. It's really complicated when it comes to India. At the end of the day, it is ultimately India versus Pakistan, and then everyone else just kind of falls in line. The thing is, this switches almost on the daily. Don't forget the USA and Pakistan were kind of allied at different points during the Cold War. I mean, these two countries didn't even exist until, 1947, so you don't need to go further back than that. Now, is China currently cool with Pakistan? Yeah, China does not love India. I know that's kind of surprising if you're American and you're really focused on BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You would think, oh, of course they're friendly. They're in BRICS. No. India and China do not like each other. And right now, China is trying to cuck India by becoming as best of friends with Pakistan. Pakistan is the country with much less population, much less economic power at this point, but China can prop them up and maybe be a huge thorn in India's side. But then, not only does Pakistan have them, they're showing they have Turkey. I'll be honest, I didn't hear much about that. The Islamic world is more than likely going to support Pakistan. That's why India and Israel are a bit more closer, and I do think that Israel pops up on India's side. But Russia and India over here, man, I mean, India is buying a lot of Russian oil to the US's anger. This is a complicated geopolitics situation. The US and India actually despise each other right now because of the tariff situation. Things are not going very well over there. I don't even know. I think Russia's just trying to stay out of the rivalry between India and China. They're just trying to make sure they have both friends on their side. Does the UK like India more than Pakistan? I guess it just depends. Japan maybe likes India more. They're definitely more of a economic power. South Korea too. And then also Myanmar, Canada, Vietnam, Brazil, and New Zealand. I don't know, man. This is a tough video. Again, it changes on the daily. You can't really even do this. This is what I'm saying. Labubu funk, bro. What? Team India is full. Bro, India doesn't even need a team. They're the most populated country on Earth. You guys are your very own team. It's kind of crazy. You're good. I think overall, I agree with the fact that ultimately China is cool with Pakistan, and I agree with the notion that India has more friends. Those two things, I think we're in agreement. Removing all red from flags. So China, bro, my brain is just fried with countries. Canada, it would just become a white flag if you remove the red. It becomes France, actually. Lebanon just becomes a tree. The Philippines just becomes a sun and blue. That's kind of cool. Yellow star. Bulgaria, Turkey is all just a white flag. This is the perfect color to remove because I believe the most amount of countries have red. Is it red or blue? It actually might be blue, my bad. But a lot of countries just become a completely white flag. Weird French flag. That's also white. There's so many communist flags that literally just become yellow and white because so many communist flags have red in them. Bangladesh is just a white circle, not too bad. You probably have to remove some of the red maybe in the coat of arms. There's got to be a little bit of red in Mexico's coat of arms. And then again, more white. Lithuania, not bad. It actually looks kind of more like an African flag. African flags love throwing green in them. Lebanon became the region of Lebanon after the fall of the Ottomans. Colombia becomes Ukraine, just upside down. What? We're removing more red this time from Norway. Norway becomes Finland, funny enough. Russia becomes, funny enough, that was an old Russian flag. The UK becomes Scotland, basically. Chile becomes, well, nothing. That is an old Russian flag. Czechia becomes, I don't even know, not bad for the USA. That's France, like we said earlier. Armenia, looks familiar. That's all white again. Liberia, whoa, wait, is that Liberia? I thought that was Malaysia for a second there, but anyways, so this is Azerbaijan. Belarus becomes just a green strip at the very bottom. Malaysia, that is basically Finland again, kind of, except without the Nordic cross. I liked this video a lot more because more of these flags, the countries to themselves, they turned into other countries, literally just by removing a single color. Yeah, so this was like a civil war Russian flag during the Russian Civil War, I believe, something like that. That's essentially Scotland, because, you know, the United Kingdom, the Union Jack is made up of the other kingdoms, England, UK, no Wales representation. And then we got Chile, kind of like, I don't know, it's like Texas. This is the Russian Empire. Germany becomes the Russian Empire. Kind of funny how often those two kind of have somewhat similar flags. USA, Malaysia, Liberia, we all have kind of the same template, so we have pretty similar looking flags after you remove all the red. Poland, all white. That looks like something. That does look like an old familiar flag from Armenia, but I can't remember what it might be. Austria, this is Liberia, and then this is Azerbaijan. Oh, that's so interesting because when you remove the red from Azerbaijan's flag, it also gets rid of the white moon and star, the Islamic symbol in the middle. Didn't even think about that. That's really cool. And then Belarus, it removes all the design over in the corner. Also Malaysia and Thailand. That looks familiar, but I'm not sure what that could be. It's not Finland, but it could be something else. There it is. Russia has become free Russia. That's what I was trying to say. Norway? Nah, that's Finland, bro. Other countries fear. We have the USA fearing a crocodile, the UK fearing tarantulas, Poland or Indonesia fearing Komodo dragons, India with snakes, the Philippines with giant spiders, Vietnam with snakes, Japan's fear though. 100% cooked. You could say that again. Okay, Japan's fear is absolutely the most justifiable here. But have you seen spiders from Australia? Surprised actually Australia did not make... You know what? Australia didn't make an appearance here because Australia is not afraid of anything. Australia literally has all these things in their backyard. They're just like, those are my pets. Interesting that the USA chose a crocodile or alligator. I think that makes a pretty good amount of sense if you're going to choose anything, any weird animal for the US. A bear might have been good because it could, you know, signify Russia a bit. Does the UK actually have giant spiders? I don't think they do. Definitely Indonesia has, they must, because Indonesia has Komodo dragons, we have crocs and alligators. Egypt definitely has scorpions, India definitely has cobras, the Philippines definitely have giant spiders, so does Vietnam has green snakes. And Japan's fear, you know what's interesting is that Godzilla is a metaphor for nuclear warfare or nuclear arms and things like that. So this could be Japan being 100% cooked because of nuclear reasons, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They were definitely, I don't know if I want to say that. You could say that they were cooked. Bro, I didn't even mean to go there. I didn't think about that. Sweden fears Minecraft horror mods. If you didn't know, Godzilla is an actual real creature in the animal kingdom. Bro, my classmate has a pet spider. No way! Countries.
Let's see what your flags look like when mixed.
Mixed? What do you mean, bro?
Oh, so we will mix 2 country flags and see what flag it becomes.
Okay, USA.
I love that idea. Do mine first.
Okay, but Earthlings, if you are a boy, then like and comment. And if you are a girl, then subscribe and share.
Hey, stop begging for likes. Start the
Bro,
video.
start the
Okay. Let's start by mixing Malaysia and Liberia.
It's USA. Kind of.
So I was made from those 2 poor countries?
Yeah, son, come
Too
here.
poor, bro. All the animal
Now let's
emojis.
mix
What?
Denmark and Finland.
What has happened to this channel? I mean, this is a different channel. This is Mr. Earth. I don't remember all the animals popping up. Oh, that's just become Norway.
So you two were my parents? And mine's too. If my parents and Iceland parents are the same, then that means. I got it. We are brothers. Bro, here I come.
Whoa, he figured it out.
Hey, this is a family show. What are you 2 doing? Okay, now let's mix
What the
Kazakhstan
hell?
and China.
What happened?
Whoa, so my parents are Blue Japan and China. Yes, son, that's why you are my state, not a country.
Oh, of course they were going to say that. I should have known. Yeah, this was by Mr. Earthy. Mr. Earthy. That's different. Teen boys here, bro. I don't think there's any girls that watch Countryballs. My bad. Actually, I don't think there's any girls that watch YouTube videos, actually. Like I said, if you love the Philippines, Vietnam, or Thailand, head over to makeship.com. They will be gone very soon. You can reserve yours today, though, before they're banished to the Shadow Realm. And a big thanks to my patrons this month. Drew's abandoned son from Alabama. Petition for Drew to make Hoi 4 ASMR Tingles version 2. Nolan. Alexander the Terrible. Nord Tyrol. Miglu the Goat. King Bear Hayes. Connor Pavlik. Frederick Tiblin. Carmel. Drew's Argentinian Trust Fund. Rip Grandpa. Douche Baggins. Luxembourg Lover. And Tambrin.